Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Peter Lyons. I'm the honorary historian at the Naval Association here at Port Adelaide. We are part of the South Australian History Month, and this weekend we're doing an open house where we've got a history event focusing on the naval history of South Australia since colonial times up until the present. So we have examples of colonial naval history right up to the new ships being built down at Osborne now. We are going to walk around the room and have a look at some of these wonderful exhibits. One which is a model of Her Majesty's Colonial Ship Protector, which has just been very kindly donated by her builder to this association. So at this moment I'm a very happy man. I think we should go and have a look at that. Okay, let's go and have a look at Protector. So here we are in front of our exhibit for our first colonial ship, Her Majesty's Colonial Ship Protector. It was ordered by our colony in 1882 and was delivered in 1884. And this was in the wrong belief that the Russians were going to come and steal all the gold bullion out of our banks. So we built Fort Largs and Fort Glanville, and we also bought this magnificent warship. I would just like to pay special thanks and pay tribute to Graham Hamilton, who so kindly donated this wonderful model of the HMCS Protector to our association. It's a fantastic addition, and I can't thank him enough. He's also donated his wonderful model of HMS Torrens 1, which was built before the First World War. It's a fine example of a pre-World War I torpedo boat, and I'm very excited by these donations. I'd just like to thank him again. Thank you so much, Graham. So I'm like a kid on Christmas Day, because this is a magnificent donation. So we now have one of the finest and one of the very few models of this wonderful warship. It stayed in the South Australian waters from 1884 till 1911. It was the most powerful and capable colonial warship. And when Australia sent a ship to the Boxer Rebellion in 1900, it was the ship that was sent and represented Australia. It was briefly commissioned into the Royal Navy as HMS Protector, and on her return from China, she was held up in Sydney to take part in our Federation celebrations when Australia became a country. So there's a lot of history around Protector. She was a landmark and familiar site in Port Adelaide for many years, and we've done a full historical explanation and display here. So this will be up when we do this next year, so please come down and have a look, because this is a great addition to our collection. Okay, let's have a look at something else. So behind me is a display of information I've compiled about our naval establishments since the 1890s up until the 1990s, and the ships that were attached and operating in South Australia from 1884 up until just before the Depression, where we had HMAS Parramatta, a torpedo boat destroyer, attached to Port Adelaide. It's been a very interesting thing for me to do, and I've learned a lot. So that's been fascinating, and will be on display next year when we do this again. Let's go and have a look at some of the other exhibits here. Okay, this is a thing I think we don't commemorate enough, and a lot of people aren't aware of, that the first Australians killed by enemy action on Australian soil were in fact two young men from HMAS Torrens, which was our naval establishment here at Birkenhead. One was a local boy born and bred in the Port Adelaide region, and the other chap was from Junee in New South Wales. They were both attached to HMAS Torrens, and they were sent down to Beachport as a render mine safe party members to deal with German mines that have been washed up ashore on our southern coast. Mines that have been brought all the way from Nazi Germany to our shores by the German raider Penguin. Unfortunately, these two men were setting a charge on this mine on the beach at Beachport to blow her up in situ. They laid the charge and they ran the wires to a safe distance, which was over a railway line. Unfortunately, a small maintenance truck came down the line and cut the wires. So they had to go and reconnect the wires, and while they were reconnecting the wires, a freak wave came in, turned the mine over onto its exploding horns, and the mine detonated, killing both of them. So some people call it an accident, but I don't think it was any accident that the Nazis built the mines, put them on a ship and brought them round to do destructive, to cause some destruction in Australia. And so at a small scale, it was mission accomplished because it killed these two fine young men, and they were the first Australians killed on Australian soil by enemy action any time. It was before the raid on Darwin, air raids on Darwin, and before the midget submarines attacked Sydney Harbour. So I think that is a very important thing to commemorate. Thankfully, they've finally put a mine on top of this structure so people know where it is. That's at Beachport, and I think we should commemorate it much more. Okay, that's an important thing for me. Let's have a look at something else. So I'm standing in front of a model of an air warfare destroyer. It's not a particularly detailed model, but this one is designed just to show how the ship was built in a modular form, how it's put together like a big Lego set. So that's the function of this model. But we built 3 of these fine vessels in South Australia, down at Osborne by ASC, built these ships, and they are the most capable and powerful surface ships in our Navy, which is a great backup to the 6 Collins-class submarines which were built adjacent on to the site where these were built, where we built out the 6 submarines, and we now maintain them in full cycle dockings. Every 10 years a Collins-class comes back and we do a major overhaul. And so we do very important work. We've constructed the most powerful and lethal weapons in our Navy, and they are an important deterrent force. So South Australia has a fine history looking backwards, but very recent history as well. We are very involved in our Navy, and we provide a very important part to the defence of this country. Okay, let's go and have a look at some more stuff. I'd just like to mention also the current construction underway at Osborne on the same site where the air warfare destroyers were built. The German company Lürssen has provided the design, and we are providing the labour to build these 2 fine offshore patrol vessels. They are sort of the culmination of many years of expanding sizes in patrol vessels. These particular ones are very capable with a flight deck and a built-in facility to launch and recover its rigid inflatable boats. And will be a fine, there'll be 12 to be built in total, 2 in South Australia, and these are currently being built. That's another current naval history fact I would like to point out. So thank you very much. And I think we should go and just have a quick look at Task Force 72's fine models behind us. Okay. I'd like to pay special thanks to Task Force 72, these volunteers who make these magnificent models, and they've come here today and brought their magnificent Australian predominantly Australian warship models here today. They're all in 72 scale, so you can get an idea of the varying sizes. And they're wonderful items, and I'm really thrilled they're here. And then I'm sure many South Australians have served on these ships during our naval history, so they're quite pertinent to this display. And I thank them very much for their time and dedication in bringing them here for this exhibition, and hopefully they'll be here when we do this again. Thank you very much, Task Force 72. Please come and visit us. We're open every Friday night, every second Friday for meals. Very inexpensive, very good meals. Bars open with good prices. Please come and visit us. We've got sausage sizzles running every Saturday morning out the front. You can check any events on our Facebook page at Naval Association of Australia at Port Adelaide. Please contact us anytime and keep an eye out. There'll be other things coming forward in the future, and we're open to the public. Whenever you see our doors open, please come in. You'll be welcome with open arms. Thank you very much for your interest.